Hello everyone. In the last lecture we have finished the topic that is welded connection, and in this lecture we will start our next topic, that is tension member. Okay, so from the word tension itself you may guess that a member is subjected to some pulling effect or pulling force. That means when a member is subjected to axially tensile load and for that load it is subjected to elongation, then that member is known as the tension member. Okay, let this is a member and the force is applied something like this, and you can see here the force is the tensile force, it is the tensile load, and due to this tensile load the member is subjected to elongation. Okay, then this member is known as the tension member. Means when the member is subjected to purely axially tensile load, then that member is known as the tension member. Okay, then next come to some examples of tension member. Okay, so here you can see this is the case of roof truss. Okay, so the bottom member, that is the main tie of the roof truss, this is the example of the tension member. Okay, and here you can see in case of the suspension bridge, the suspenders, these are the suspenders of the suspension bridge. Okay, so these suspenders are also example of the tension members. Okay, so here in case of roof truss, the main tie or the tie of the roof truss, then the suspenders of the suspension bridge, these are some examples of tension members. Okay, then next come to common shapes of the tension members. Okay, so some shapes or some cross sections which are generally we see in case of tension member. So here you can see the angle section, double angle section, channel section, then I section, circular section, steel flat or steel plate, then the built up section. Okay, so these are the sections which are used as the tension member. Okay, so these sections we will see which are used, which we generally use as the tension members. Okay, then next come to design strength of the tension member. Okay, so design strength of tension member depends upon, first one is yielding of cross section, second one is rupture of critical section or rupture strength of critical section, then third one is block shear strength. Okay, so design strength of tension member depends upon these three strengths, that is yielding of cross section or yield strength of the cross section, then second one is rupture strength of critical section, then third one is block shear strength. Okay. So, to get the value of the design strength of tension member, we will calculate these three values. Okay. Then we will take the minimum value as the design strength of the tension member. Okay. So, now we have to see these three things in detail. Okay. So, let us discuss about the yielding of the gross section. So, from the yielding of gross section, we know that the steel has the more reserve strength even after the yielding. Okay. So, with this yielding, the main problem is that in case of limited design, we are also concerned with the serviceability criteria. Okay. So, in case of limited design method, we also consider the serviceability criteria. So, due to this yielding, elongation may happen in case of member, and that elongation is too large, and that large amount of deformation we cannot permit due to this serviceability criteria. Okay. So, due to this condition, the structure may not in serviceable condition. That is why we have limited our strength up to yielding strength. Okay. So, in case of yielding of gross section, we have to find out the strength at which the gross section yields. Okay. And that we have already seen and we have already discussed in case of the bolted connection. Okay. So, the yielding of gross section, that means the strength at which the gross section yields, that strength can be calculated by the formula, and that formula you know very well, that is TDG is equal to SG into Fy divided by gamma m naught. Okay. So, for this you can refer clause number 6.2, page number 32 of IS code 800/2007. Okay. So, here AG is the gross cross sectional area. Okay. Gross cross sectional area. Fy is the yield stress of the material, that is generally 250. For Fe410 steel, the yield stress is generally 250 megapascal, that is in Newton per mm square. Then next come to gamma m naught. Gamma m naught is the partial factor of safety for the failure at the by yielding. Okay. And that value you can get from the table number 5, and that value is generally 1.1. So, these things you know from the bolted connection. Okay. So, in this way you can calculate the yielding of the gross section. Okay. So, generally at the yielding, large deformation occurs, and after at the yielding and also after the yielding, large deformation occurs, and that large deformation we cannot permit due to this serviceability criteria. Okay. That is why we have limited our design strength, we have limited our strength up to the yielding. Okay. Up to yield strength. So, for this point of view, we have to calculate the yielding of the gross section. Then next come to rupture strength of critical section. So these thing also we have already discussed in case of bolted connection. Okay, so in case of bolted connection, we checked the rupture strength at the critical section. Okay, we check the rupture strength at the critical section, means here one part of the member or plate is separated from the rest of the member at the critical section, and that strength we have calculated in case of the bolted connection. Okay, so here also for the steel plates, the rupture strength can be calculated by the formula, that is 0.9 into N into Fu divided by gamma ml. Okay, so here Fu is the ultimate tensile stress of the material, then gamma ml is the partial factor of safety for the failure at the ultimate stress, and that value you can get from the table number 5, and that value is generally 1.25. Okay, then next come to net area, net effective area. Okay, so that is calculated by B minus ND naught plus summation of PS square divided by 4GI whole into thickness of the member. Okay, and you know that this formula or this equation is used for the staggered bolted case. Staggered bolted case, this equation is applicable for the staggered bolted case, means if the bolts are arranged in this manner, in this zigzag manner, then we will apply this equation to calculate the net effective area. Okay, so here we have to find out the critical section. Okay, so how do we find how we will find the critical section? Okay, so here we have to take several possible sections and we will calculate the net area for each section, then the area which is giving the minimum net area, then that is known as the critical section. So the section may be this one or this one or this one. Okay, so we will take all the several possible sections and calculate we will calculate the net area for each section, and the section which is giving the minimum net area, that we will take as the critical section. Okay, and for the chain bolted case, this term will be 0. Okay, and the formula will be B minus ND naught whole into T. This is for the chain bolted case. Okay, so if the steel plates are used as the tension member, then you can find the rupture strength of critical section by this formula. Okay, so this is the first case. Then in the second case, we will see about the threaded rod. Okay, so if threaded rods are used as the tension member, then the rupture strength can be calculated by the same formula, that is 0.9 into An into Fu divided by gamma ml. Okay, and here An is the net area can be calculated by 0.78 into pi by 4 into d square. Okay, so this area is the net area at the threaded portion. Okay, at the threaded portion. Okay, so here only the difference is in net area. Here the net area is the 0.78 into pi by 4 into d square, and d is the diameter of the threaded rod. Okay, so in this way you can calculate the rupture strength if the threaded rods are used as the tension member. Okay, then come to third case. That if the angle sections are used as tension member. Okay, if the angle section is used as the tension member. Okay, so if we talk about the tension member, then only one leg we can connect with the gusset plate in case of connection. Okay, so generally we connect one leg of the angle section with the gusset plate. Okay, so okay, so here you can see only one leg is connected with the gusset plate. Okay, so this is the angle section. Okay, and this is the angle section, and this is the gusset plate. Okay, so here you can see one leg of the angle section is connected with the gusset plate, and this leg is known as the connected leg. And the leg which is not connected, then that is known as the outstanding leg. So this leg which is not connected to any gusset plate or to any member, that is called as outstanding leg. Okay. So generally we assume that the applied load go through the center of gravity of the section, but in this case the applied load will not go through the CG of the section. That means here in this case we have introduced the concept of the eccentricity, as here the load will not go through the CG of the section, so eccentricity will come in this. Eccentricity will come into the picture in this case. Okay, and due to eccentricity there will be non-uniform of non-uniform stress distribution. Okay, so what do you mean by non-uniform stress distribution? Okay, if we say that our connection is reached at the ultimate stress, that means here this part is reaching at the ultimate stress, while this outstanding leg is reaching at the yield stress. Okay, so if the connection is reached at the ultimate stress, then here you can see this part will be subjected to ultimate stress, and as this leg is not connected, and I have already said that the due to the serviceability criteria, we cannot permit the large deformation. That's why we have limited our design, we have limited our strength up to the yield stress. So here this leg will be subjected to yield stress, while our connection is subjected to ultimate stress. Okay, that means here this part will subjected to more shear than that of this part. Okay, so there is a non-uniform stress distribution. Okay, and this difference, okay, the difference between this part, this portion and this outstanding leg, the difference between these two stress is known as the shear lag. Okay, so for these features, IS code has given the formula to calculate the rupture strength. Okay, so for these features, IS code has given to calculate the rupture strength. Okay, and the formula is and the formula is 0.9 ANC Fu by gamma ml plus beta Az naught Fy by gamma m naught. Okay. So here ANC is the net area of connected leg. Net area of connected leg, and Fu is the ultimate tensile stress of the metal. Gamma ml is the partial factor of safety for the failure at the ultimate stress, and that value is 1.25. Then Az naught is the gross area of this outstanding leg. Okay, so here ANC is the net area of this connected leg, okay, of this leg, and Az naught is the gross area of this outstanding leg, and Fy is the yield stress of the metal, that is 250 megapascal, and gamma m naught is the partial factor of safety for the failure by the yielding, and that value is 1.1. Okay, so from this equation you can see that the connected leg is subjected to ultimate stress, while the outstanding leg is reaching to the yield stress. Okay, means there is a non-uniform stress distribution, means while one leg is subjected to high shear and other leg is subjected to low shear compared to former leg, then there will be shear lag. Okay, so for this IS code has given this formula to calculate the rupture strength if the angle section is used as the tension member. Okay, then next come to beta. Okay, so the value of beta is calculated by the formula, that is 1.4 minus 0.076, then W by T, Fi by Fu, Bs by Lc should be greater than equal to 0.7 and should be less than equal to Fu into gamma m naught divided by Fy into gamma ml. Okay. So these are the limiting value for the beta. Okay. So 0.7 is the minimum range of the minimum range for the value of the beta, and Fu into gamma m naught divided by Fy into gamma ml, this value is the maximum range of the value of the beta. So beta should lie between these two value. Okay. Then next come to W. So okay, so here W means width of the outstanding leg, width of outstanding leg. So this is our outstanding leg here. Okay, so this distance, okay, so this is the width of the outstanding leg. Okay, then next come to T. T is the thickness of the angle section. Then Fy is the yield stress of the material, Fu is the ultimate tensile stress of the material. Then next come to Bs. Okay, so Bs is the shear lag width. Okay, so Bs is the shear lag width, means the part which is facing the shear lag. Okay, so if it is the case of the bolted connection, then you can see this distance and up to this distance, this will face the shear lag. That means here W, and if this is the gauge distance, means from this edge of the outstanding leg to the center of the bolt, if this is the gauge distance, then the shear lag width can be calculated by W plus G minus T. Okay, so here you can see, here we are adding this thickness twice. Okay, so here W, okay, in W also this thickness is coming, and plus G, in G also this thickness is coming. So this thickness is coming twice while we are adding W and G. So we deduct the thickness as it is coming twice while we are adding W and G. Okay, so here W is the outstanding leg width and G is the gauge distance, that is the distance from the edge of the outstanding leg to the center of the bolt. Okay, so this part is facing the shear lag. Okay, so if this is applicable if the tension member is connected by the bolted connection. Okay, then if the tension member is connected by the welded connection. So here you can see the tension member here is connected with the gusset plate by the help of the welded connection. So here the shear lag width will be the outstanding leg width. Okay, so for the welded connection the shear lag width will be W. Okay, as here whole this leg is this leg is connected leg. Okay, and only this leg, only this part is facing the shear lag effect. Okay, so for the welded connection the shear lag width will be the outstanding leg width. Okay, then next come to LC. Okay, So here LC is the length of connection. Length of connection. Okay. So if the tension member is connected by the help of the bolted connection, then the length of connection will be this distance. That means the distance, the center to center distance between the first bolt and last bolt. Okay. So this is the center of the first bolt and this is the center of last bolt. So this distance is known as the length of connection in case of bolted connection. Okay. And in case of welded connection, the length of connection will be the effective length. Okay. Length of connection will be the effective length when the tension member or the angle section is connected by the connected to the gusset plate by the help of welded connection. Okay. But if there may be a case that let this leg is connected by the welded connection up to this length and this leg is connected with the gusset plate up to this length. So obviously this length of weld is more than that of this length. Okay. So in this case, which length we will take as the length of connection. So always remember that in this type of condition, always take the longer length in the direction of the load as the length of the connection. So here we will take this length, this longer length as the length of connection. Okay. So in this way, by putting these values, we can calculate the beta value. Okay. Then we will check with these limiting values. Okay, whether the beta value is coming in this range or not. Okay. Then after that we will put the value of beta in this equation. Then we can calculate the rupture strength of the angle section. Okay. So if the angle section is used as the tension member, then we will calculate the rupture strength by this way, by this formula. Okay. So this is all about today's class. In the next lecture we will discuss about the block shear strength. Okay, block shear failure. Thank you.